this is Jason Palmisano, founder and CEO of Trinity Fitness. I'm here at Flagler College in St. Augustine, Florida, where I've just reconnected with my high school football coach, Joey Wiles, Melbourne High School. And so you've taken us for a tour around Flagler College. It's been, you've treated us so graciously, and it's so good to be with you again. Coach Wiles, you can look him up because he's got quite an illustrious coaching career. Coaching for 34 years. 20 of those years are at St. Augustine High School, St. Augustine, Florida. Coach, out of those 20 years, you went to the playoffs 15 years. You went to the semifinals at least 3 times, and you won the state championship. I'm curious, you've achieved so much success. You've been in this field for over 3 decades. I don't want to make you seem old, Coach.
Well, you're 49, so it makes me kind of old.
But how has your coaching philosophy changed? How have you redefined success from your early years to your ending years?
Great question, and very simple answer. I just remember back when I first started, everything was about winning, and it was, chasing success, make a name for yourself. And as I've gone through over the years, what I've learned, and really through my walk with Christ, was that it's all about your relationships. Don't chase success. Work hard, develop relationships. Try to get kids to become better than they even believe they can become. And when I say that, that means develop a great work ethic and a belief that there's something out there greater than you. And we happen to be in a society where everything's about you, and so it's not easy to do, but the rewards when you see players like unbelievable blessing today to have somebody that I coached so long ago to come back, and you talk about loving your players and everything like that, and then when you see you love your players, and so don't chase the success. Do things the right way, and success will come.
Yeah, I love that. I went into teaching and coaching in large part of your influence in my life way back when. And one of the things I noticed very quickly was that in the coaching profession, marriages didn't seem to stay together. It was a tough environment to stay married. But you've been married for 34 plus years, happily married to Lydia. What would you tell some of the younger coaches today, some of the successes? Because I asked Lydia this question earlier. I don't know. We were standing around.
I don't know what she'd say.
I don't know if you were privy to that conversation, but I can tell you what Lydia said. She said 3 things. Number 1, from a wife's standpoint, be interested in what your husband's doing. Number 2, she loves kids and always loved to have the football team a part of what you guys were doing in your family life. It was kind of infused. And then number 3, she said, never be afraid to remind your husband who his real kids are, right? Because you love your players. And she told me the story of when your youngest daughter, Jessica, kind of she got left behind by one of the teachers and had to walk a long way, and the first thing you say, what are you doing? You need to be doing certain things, and you didn't know that she had gotten left behind, and Lydia reminded you, and which my wife does to me quite often as well. She goes, hey, you might have over 100 kids to take care of, but you only birthed 1, so don't forget who that is. And so those were her 3. How would you say, what are some of the keys that you would tell younger coaches?
Well, I would say first off, going through difficult times, that's okay. They're gonna be there. You're growing. You're getting to know somebody really for the first time when you live with them, and life happens. Jobs get in the way. Kids now are part of the equation. So the time that you used to spend together, you don't spend as much time together. So there's going to be difficult times. The important thing is to not give up through those, to keep, really you fight for your marriage all the time. because there's attacks from the outside. But I can say for myself, coaching was always a family affair. And when I mean that, what I mean by that was my kids were involved as managers. My wife was at all the events. She was at every game. Kids came to our homes. And then when it comes time to make a decision on, as coaches, we're looking for the next move or the next job. I never made a decision without them being the main focus. There were other jobs that we didn't go to that they didn't feel comfortable with. And I would say the last thing is, how do you spell love? You spell it Time. And I remember many times coaches wanting to go play golf, after a Saturday event or playing golf, on the weekends or whatever. And I felt like I put so much time into coaching that in the other time that I hadn't, that I was not there, I needed to pour into my family. So I would, obviously, say, hey, you're gonna have tough times. Fight through them. It's worth it. It's really worth it. And make sure that you're spending time, with your family. And that's really been kind of the reason for our success. And above all else is we both have the same beliefs. The Bible says that marriage is good, and having the same faith is, I think, vital as well.
Right on. Words from a wise man. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I resonate with that. Marriage is worth fighting for. You at St. Augustine High School for 20 years. Your biggest rival, or at least one of your biggest rivals, right down the road is Nice High School. You coached against Tim Tebow. I don't know if you want me going there or not, but we're going to go there. So Tim Tebow. Now, interesting story. It's kind of a funny story because you are 4-0 against Tim Tebow. Share a little bit of that story with us and how that happened.
Well, I saw him as a sophomore and knew that he was going to be a great player. I didn't know to what extent. And they were doing all kinds of things. They were 5 wide and doing all kinds of things before a lot of coaches were. And so back then, people would play cover 2, cover 3, and so forth. And I knew that was not going to be good enough to beat them. So Bob Stoops has been a longtime friend of mine. I called Coach Stoops, and he told me to fly out. They had developed a new coverage. It's called Palms now. A lot of people run it. But Bo Pelini had brought it over from the 49ers, and I went out and learned it, and we brought it back, and it's a coverage that's kind of unique, or was unique back then. And basically, you're reading the release of number 2, and it changes the coverage depending on what that one guy did. And it really changed coverage-wise, how to defend the spread offensive stuff. And I was blessed enough to have a great friend like Bob Stoops that allowed me to do that.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. And you and Tim Tebow, you've talked since, and you joke about that. You've got a little bit of a friendship there.
Yeah. Tim, great kid, and the stuff that he's doing now is phenomenal. We would see each other. He played basketball. He's a great baseball player at Nice. I was there when he hit a home run to beat St. Aug in a playoff game, which I guess that was him getting back at us. But Tim and I had a great relationship. Great what he has done for Down syndrome kids and kids that are less fortunate. He's gone off and used his platform, and just really respect what Tim's done.
Right on. I've had an opportunity to meet Tim one time in person when he did a speaking engagement for Trinity Fitness, and I can say he is one of the most genuine people on planet Earth, and he's just a wonderful guy. One more question for you, Coach, and then I'm going to let you go. I know you got a meeting to head off to. I want to go back to the original question of redefining success, because you've got a championship ring. A lot of people wear their championship ring. You don't, and that's fine, whether you do or don't. But I notice that some people seem to. That's what defines them. That's what brings them meaning, purpose, and importance and significance in life. And that may have been you in the beginning years, but it seems to have shifted now in the later years of your life, because you redefine impact and significance. You've defined that differently now. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was me. It was all about. I remember sitting many times talking about. I just want to win that ring. I want to wear a ring. I saw college guys with them, high school guys, and interestingly enough, we won the state title in '05, and it's like, hey, when you win a state championship, life's going to be great. You know what? We won a state championship, and the same life issues pop up. And I was telling you at lunch, I've got a ring that I keep, and it's kind of gotten tarnished and old, and I bring that out sometimes to show other coaches that I talk to that at the end of the day, all of that it's dung. It's going to be tarnished. At the end of the day, what's going to happen is when they put you in the ground, they're going to say, what impact did you have on people? And that means more to me now than ever before. At the beginning, I have to be honest and say that was not, that really was not the big thing. I was chasing that ring, the success. I don't want to say the money and teaching,
yeah.
but the money,
Yeah.
all of those
Right.
things that the world tells you
Right.
is success. Jesus flips it all. I come as a king. I could come in a robe and crowns, but I don't. I flip it, and I come with very little, and I come to serve and not to gain riches. And when you start to look at life like that, life becomes a whole lot better.
Right on. Coach, thank you so much for sharing that wisdom with us. There's an old saying that says, experience is a great teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience. And so if you're a younger coach out there, we can really learn some things from what Coach Wiles is saying, and I appreciate you taking the time to show us a great afternoon.
Thank you, Justin.
God bless.
Good seeing you.